And I guarantee Goblin's going to do all the carriers in the world for it.
All right, I'll hold you to that. Spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, making our lives easy that they're both on the same team. It's Infinity Gaming's Goblin.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, it is the Red Zerg player, also from Infinity Gaming. It is Namshar.
Yes, now, Namshar, a very solid Zerg player from what I've seen. And, Goblin, I mean, I've seen some of his games. I've never cast him before, so he's a little bit of a wild card to me. But,
Yep. I mean, just carriers. That's all you need to know.
Carriers.
He loves going
Okay,
carrier.
I'll take your word for it.
I've been casting him for it feels like a couple of years now. He used to come to the Gauntlet Global Open I cast back before that disbanded. And yeah, it's basically he's been working on this carrier build for a long, long time now, especially against Zerg, and he's very good at it. So, I mean, he's going to go for the Nexus Nope 1 Gate expand here, get up his gas, get enough Phoenix to survive, get out a couple Oracles and stuff, just be able to deflect whatever kind of pressure Namshar is going to throw at him. And then suddenly it's a carrier Voidway Archon High Templar group, and it's much harder to deal with for Namshar. I'm making my prediction.
I like it. I want to see how it's done. You know, carriers are a little bit up in the air as far as like the meta and whatnot goes completely. But no, I mean, they're can still be very, very scary at times. So, like you said, Gateway Expand here. Namshar, on the other hand, just doing his standard Zerg Expo.
Yep. And I mean, if there is one way to easily kill Goblin, is if you could find a hole in this build where you can just show up with a ton of Roaches and Ravagers or something and just kill him because he's trying to rush to carrier, that's something that you can do. If Namshar can pull that off and find that timing, but if he just sits back and tries to macro this, he's going to have a harder time with it. I really feel that's the case.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Goblin chrono boosting out his Adept Stargate, or Robo, pardon me, not a Stargate. I mean, okay, so Goblin already changing things up a little bit. Delayed, actually got that Robo out very quickly. He delayed his Warp Gate just a smidge to get that out, now following it up with a Stalker to deny scouting here.
Yeah, very interesting opening here from Goblin, but I can't shake this feeling we're going to see Stargate at some point. So we'll see, though. We'll have to work together on that to make sure we see that when it happens. And third base going down for Namshar. He doesn't appear to be going for anything like a Roach Warren. He's just getting up as many bases as he can here, and then maybe with the Scout will tell him what to do.
Yeah, Namshar just opening up pretty standard metabolic boost. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see him reach like that 35 worker count. Get up that Roach Warren, which is generally like the safety number of drones you hit before you really commit to the safety as a Zerg. Zergs are very good at sort of knowing the magic number of everything that they need to make just to have as clean as a build as possible. Now Namshar, on the other hand, though, he's getting up a Warp Prism, getting up a Twilight Council.
So it's going to be Archon harass, yeah.
Yeah, this is a very, very quick Warp Prism, though. He's chrono boosting it out, and this is going to be before his, say, Templar Archives is even up. So he's going to be going for an Immortal and then a Charge Lot behind it, or Charge behind it.
Yes, indeed. That charge not being chrono boost is going for the Immortal first instead. So an Immortal Zealot push here from Goblin against Namshar. Interesting.
Okay,
I wonder
what's really interesting here is that he builds 2 more gas geysers. He's trying to sell a story to Namshar here. He builds 2 more gas geysers, but he pulls out of the ones in his main base. So he's trying to fake out Namshar here, who he knows that has an Overlord just hanging around here. So Namshar's like, oh, okay, you're mining out of your gas there. So that Namshar's probably thinking he's got 4 gases when really he's just mining off of 2, because the rest of his money is going to be going to these charge lots, going to 5 gateways on the way at the moment. And Goblin going to be hitting a strong attack here.
This is really, really mind-gamey out of Goblin. I like it a lot. So there go the Warp Gates. Twilight Council is just about complete here. Being Chrono Boost now, that's going to help with that immensely. The Overlord does not see this. I like the Ling spread to where Namshar should be able to see this coming out. I'm going to go ahead
and go to Namshar seen, though? I mean, he's seen the 2 gases that are selling the fake story, but he hasn't seen anything else. He's now seen the Warp Prism and some Zealots moving across the map. He's making Spine Crawlers, but those aren't...
Did he see?
Did he
see the Warp Prism?
Guessing, like, maybe by the gases or something.
Oh, now he does.
But yeah, he definitely knows it's coming his way now, but I don't know if he was fully aware that this is going to be a ton of charge loss and immortals, because I don't think a single spine crawler is going to help defend his third base. He's tucked into his natural now, making a lot of roaches, but that's what the immortals are going to be for out of Goblin, and with the prism to micro them, this is going to be a scary attack. That being said, though, counterattack going down on the other side of the map. Cybercore is going to fall, but fortunately for Goblin, you don't need that to make Zealots. So this attack,
that's all he's really worried about.
Yeah, that's all he's making now. Goblin has pulled out of all of his gases here. This is a very precise timing. Lots of Zealots coming on in here, just hugging these roaches right now, pulling back to avoid Corrosive Bile. Namshar's tucked into a very good corner here, minimizing the surface area, actually doing incredibly well. Those immortals really need to get in there to try and break that up, but more and more Zealots warping on in here. Ling's working away on this, but there's also the prism there to micro these immortals. They really are the main damage dealers in this attack. So far, Namshar seems to be holding, though, but I mean, immortals in a prism is like that attack ever done. Drones are being
this is going to be a lot of dead drones here. The immortals are just sitting back. 11 kills, 8 kills each. They need to be focusing down the roaches. Let the Zealots worry about everything else here, but instead they're trying to focus down drones. There we go. Pushing out, and Namshar is going to lose his natural base. It looks like the kiting back for the roaches may keep them alive, but it's abandoning that base entirely. The immortals are refusing to die as usual, living up to their name. Immortals just evaporating here. Queen's down 2. Army supply 26-4. There's nothing left for Namshar. And I think Goblin has taken game at number 1 without a carrier to be seen.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, why bother building carriers when you can go for so many charge lots and just... He has just destroyed Namshar. Namshar has 1 supply. FF, Ops, GG. Righto, Goblin takes game number 1.
Oh, that was mind games. I think you're right. I think he saw, right? He scouted the 3rd and 4th Vespene geysers being taken and said, clearly this is 4 Vespene geysers being harvested from. But no, it was just 2. He didn't prepare adequately for the immortals and for the zealots and made roaches. It didn't work out for him all that well. And nicely done. Nicely done by Goblin. Well played indeed.
All right. But we'll get ready to get on into the next game. Thanks so much, too, for everyone tuning on in.
It's going to be on Cyber Forest for the next game here.
Yes, indeed. And we'll load on into that. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning in. Make sure to let your friends and everyone else know that this is going to be going on. Good StarCraft right here, that's for sure.
Negation over there in chat says the carriers are for Bronze League. I tell you, man, Goblin took down Cham with carriers. It's doable.
It is. I believe it. I mean, I have my... See, I'm sort of on the fence about the whole Protoss late game thing, but for now, spawning down the bottom right-hand side of the map, he don't need no Protoss late game. It's Goblin.
And in the top left-hand corner, it's his teammate who he's probably played against 1,000 times in the last month. It is a Namshar.
Yeah, the whole carrier thing's interesting for me. Like, in the past, I mean, it was sort of undeniable that Protoss had fantastic late game versus Zerg. Like, we'd see games in which Protoss would just try and get up, say, some Colossus, Tempest, a million cannons, and then sit back and let the Zerg crash against them. But it's not so much that anymore, from what I've seen. But it's still sort of like this thing in which I was watching... Oh, who was I watching? It was some StarCraft. I was watching StarCraft at some point. It's completely blanking from my mind here, but it seems that carrier timing attacks are still very strong. Necessarily sitting back with 200 carriers and never attacking, that doesn't seem like a valid strategy anymore.
Right.
But still going for timing attacks, which is, if Goblin goes for one of those, I will happily watch and learn.
Well, yeah, you definitely, it's not just carrier. You got the Void Rays in there to deal with the Corruptors. You got Storm to deal with pretty much everything else. Archons to deal with Corruptors as they fly up in there. The carriers are not really the main show. It's just this combination of all these different things that really counter different things that Zerg are going to try to do to deal with this. So, I don't know. Like I said, it's not mass carrier out of Goblin, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that particular composition, which is really, really hard to deal with. Anyway, Goblin is going for the expansion. He's got his Cyber Core down. He is taking his second gas now. Very, very standard opening. Overlord coming in for the scout to see what's going on. It is his first glimpse of what the Protoss player is up to, and the answer is nothing too crazy yet. But I really feel like Namshar's kicking himself for not doing better scouting in the earlier stages, maybe not flying into the main base and seeing what's going on, because there was nothing to stop that. Not like there were any stalkers out. It was all zealots and immortals. He could have come in, he could have scouted the tech and really
I think
prepared
Goblin
for it better.
did make one stalker.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, in that last game, to deny the scouting. That stalker has one job, usually. But this game, it is a Stargate. So we'll see. Goblin going to be opening up with that. I mean, it's still a very common Protoss opening. It doesn't don't get too excited. It doesn't necessarily say carriers. They'll be happy if it does. And
Definitely
you seem
not.
to have cast
yeah.
him a lot, but we'll see. Now just making that extra adept. Zerg players have gotten pretty sort of tricky lately. In the past, it would be that the Lings would usually just sit back at home, wait for the adept to come in, but then Zerg sort of were like, hey, wait a second. What if I just send a couple Lings across the map to scout on out while your only unit is on my side of the map? So, I mean, it's sort of become this odd dance in early game PvZ I've seen, in which, like, the first adept will move out, a few Lings will try and sneak on in, but then sometimes Protoss will keep their second adept back at home. It's a whole ordeal.
A little bit of cat and mouse here, but Speedlings are out. Queen is here too, getting those extra shots off. This is just a scouting adept. She will not finish that transfer. She sees no lair and no roach warren and no gas being taken. So no aggression from Namshar here in the early stages at all. Phoenix opening here from Goblin is going for an Oracle follow-up. Probably going to be that Phoenix Oracle play. Namshar needs to deal with that by getting one spore down and making sure he has a queen and D2s of bases, and he should be fine.
2 gases on the way for Goblin behind this. So going to be really getting into that, and that's what you need if you are going to throw down a second Stargate, and there we go. So Goblin is going to be playing this sort of mass air style, like you said. First Phoenix always out to shut down the Overlord scouts. In fact, the only unit that's died this game so far is a single Overlord. But the Oracle is about defending from Lings, however, also getting a fair bit of getting some damage done if possible. Oracle's coming on in. There's a Queen in position. Drones are transferring. They're going to be getting shot down. Gets 3 and should be able to get on out. It's going to be close, but yeah, nicely done. 3 drones and getting out is pretty decent for an Oracle these days.
Yeah, not too shabby. Indeed. It used to be the Oracle would get kills. Anything less was a disappointment, but Zerg players know exactly how to handle it. And getting 3 is pretty impressive.
Yeah, no.
Oh, there's another one. And it does manage you. Oh! Thought he had it.
Oh, that must have been the only Oracle, but... Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, ouch. Yeah, you don't want to be losing that as Goblin, because he's going Mass Phoenix, and the only thing that's really anti-Ling is that one Oracle. He's going to have to be very wary when getting his third base. Now he's got his Adepts tucked nicely in behind this pylon here. So, we'll see, though. Now, got Phoenix moving out across the map, making even another Oracle. I love this. Just, he must know that he needs this to defend from any Lings or anything like that.
Phoenix are going to work. They did kill an Overlord. They're going to try to go ahead and maybe pick up a Queen or 2 if they can find one that's alone. But Overlords seem to be the play right now. They're going to try to supply block Namshar. This next one will supply block the Zerg player.
Yeah,
and there it is.
Nicely done.
So frustrating.
Phoenix coming on in, just gonna lift up 1 or 2 drones. The reason the Phoenix can do this is that they are very tanky units. So even if there's a Spore or a Queen, they can pick something up and get on out. So 4 drones going down. Goblin will continue to try and get value as this game goes on. He's actually following this up though with double robo facilities here.
Yeah, very interesting. Double robo. I mean, I'm not even sure what he would be trying to do with that. He's trying to kill a Queen, can't quite do it because of the response. Ling's over at Namshar's, or Goblin's third.
Probably
Immortals,
shoved if I had to guess. Just Immortals and then eventually Charge Lots behind this. That's usually what we see, but he's still making Phoenix here. He's got his Forge on the way. There's the double Immortal. Just, I guess, the natural follow-up to eventually build into a solid ground army. But the fact that he committed to the +1 is definitely curious for me. Maybe this is some level of mind games going on between these 2 players here. If Goblin is known as someone who always sort of transitions into that late game, as you say, like into the mass carriers, he's just transitioning into a strong potential ground follow-up.
Yeah, as Phoenix have been getting a lot of stuff done, too. They've killed 14 drones with the Oracle help there. A couple Queens have died.
Goblin is playing Protoss mech here.
As Lings roll into the third base, of Goblin. There's nothing really to stop this. Some Zealots are warping in, but there aren't enough of them. The Lings are doing some terrible work right now. Probe's trying to fight Adept's trying to help.
Oracle's got tons of energy, it's just not there, so this will be sent back. But no, I just realized that Goblin's playing Protoss Mech, and I think the defining thing for that is just the lack of Warp Gate. He's never got Warp Gate. He got his +1 air. He's getting up a few gateways now. Doesn't have Warp Gate, though. That's a little bit concerning. Meanwhile, these Phoenix continuously getting damage done with their +1. They are being sent back by the large amount of Hydras here. And Goblin going for double Colossus. Behind this, getting extended thermal lance. I'm a big fan of Colossus in pretty much any matchup.
Yeah, I love them, especially if there's a lot of Hydras on the ground.
Yeah, for sure.
The problem is their effectiveness is really great up until Corruptors start coming out from the Zerg. So yeah. We'll see if a Spire starts getting built, but you know what? I don't really see one in production for Namshar at all.
Okay.
So if it's just going to be a Hydra push or a Hydra defense, these Colossus are going to be great.
I'm still a little bit concerned. Oh, he does have Warp Gate. Silly me. Ugh. Okay, pardon me.
It's all good.
Colossus.
So yeah, extended thermal lance, +1 attack coming in.
Yeah, I mean, lots of these robo units, though. I mean, he does have a few gateways. He's got up charge, I believe. No charge actually just yet. Blink on the way. So he's got up a few gateways, but he really is committing heavily into this. Like, I mean, four Immortals, 4 Colossus soon to be warping, and some Stalkers. So Goblin really playing this heavy robo style.
He really is. His Phoenix are trapped in the top left here. These Hydras are babysitting them.
They might have to recall.
They might have to. Easy enough. Oracle swinging in for the Scout. Is there a Spire? No, definitely not here. I really don't think Namshar is expecting Colossus at all. There are 4 of them out already. Extended Thermal Lance is finishing up in 5 seconds from now. +2 attack is being chrono boosted as well. Namshar is taking a 5th base at the 12 o'clock position. But economically, it's not going to help you if you're making the wrong stuff versus 4 Colossus.
Yeah, Goblin just going for a big timing attack, it looks like. Part of the reason why we saw Colossus disappear a little bit was, or just not really be that relevant, was the fact that Zerg was going for a ton of Lings and Banelings, but there's not that much for it for Namshar. He's making a couple Lings now, because the thing is, the Banelings would roll in, crash into the army, and I know you may say Banelings versus Colossus, really, but no, it would just basically break it up, and Colossus break it up and force the fights to happen really quickly, whereas Colossus get their damage out very, they take a while to get their damage out and their efficiency. Now, of course, also Lurkers stall Colossus a little bit, but they can outrange those Lurkers and get shots off.
Yeah, he's just being so careful here. He's lifting up some of the Lurkers, going for it a little bit. Man, look at those absolute Hydra massacre there.
Yeah, the Lurkers have stalled his opponent, but here comes in a ton of those Zealots. There is no charge for him just yet, but slow Zealots, I mean, once they're on the hatchery, they'll do damage just the same. So gets a nice cancel there. Goblin going for a 1-2 there. And shutting that down is very nice, even though he wasn't able to break the 4th base of Namshar yet.
Yeah, I feel like Immortals are the answer here to these Lurkers, as they are getting double pumped now by Goblin.
Yeah, he's already up to 6.
4 base to 4 base is not really favoring the Zerg player at all. He's trying to get that 5th base up at the bottom section, but these Zealots successfully hid, I think. Hydras are coming down to protect it. One Zealot goes in to scout and say, okay, there are actually units here. They're hiding in this grass. Look at this.
They're like guerrilla Zealots or whatever, just hiding out. But,
well, no, the Hydras are hiding.
Oh.
Up at the attempted 5th base. Check it out.
Oh my god.
That's amazing.
This is
that feels
actually
like a new mechanic.
Thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I've never seen anything like that.
Me neither. They can just hide out in there.
Is this a map feature? Oh, this is
It's gotta be.
Curious. Oh man. Like, it's cool that they do something like that, but whether that's just like intentional or not, because like it all comes down to whether you have health bars on or not, whether you see that really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody plays with them on, at least for damage, right?
Yeah, but still, that's really cool.
Aspire is getting started now for Namshar, so these Colossus have a bit of a timer they're running on.
Yeah,
We're
but
looking
there's
at
also
9.
The better AoE now. The High Templar are out as well, so...
True fact, but a Lurker attack into Goblin's third. Oh, that Adaptive Talents upgrade is done. Everyone is dead up here.
Those probes need to get on out recalled. Nope, just a lot of dead probes. Those Lurkers.
Yeah.
They're causing Goblin a lot of trouble now. This Nexus may even go down. Observers are here, allowing all these Lurkers to be seen, and the Lurkers will be cleaned on out. But there's the 1-2 punch. Hydra's coming on in. Goblin could be losing 2 of his bases here, his 2 most important bases. 23 workers going down. Meanwhile, the Phoenix are getting a bit of counter damage done. Goblin is teching into those carriers like he said he would do eventually, but... oh, this hurts Goblin. His economy has just been smashed, and it may be time for him to go for an attack as a result.
Yeah, that +2 air weapons is going to come in handy as it's being researched here. Pushing out with this Colossus, which doing pretty well for themselves. 6 kills on that Colossus. This guy is rolling with 9. This guy's got 11. And are there any Lurkers here? Is just straight Roach Hydra? I don't know. Oh, there we go. The Lurkers
there's Psystorm. Oh, there's the Lurkers.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so Goblin maybe can't break this. I mean, it would be very tough to attack into like a defensive position like this. He is getting a Zealot counter harassment though on this north side base, which is very, very nice. I mean, if you're not able to break your opponent, you want to be hitting them somewhere else. And so I'm loving to see this come out of Goblin. Now he might warp something into the main base if he can afford it. He is rather broke currently, trying to make all these carriers. Oh, Goblin, gotta be careful with that army.
Yeah, the High Templar have not thrown down any storms yet. They're saving that for a situation where it was really called for. He's going to try to slick on this bottom side. Namshar's units are
hiding in the bushes. Like, that's crazy.
Oh man, they're hiding again. That's amazing.
I wonder if that shows on like lower graphics or anything. How that looks too. But, that's definitely something I'm curious about.
It was using Storm to zone out the Zerg player on the right side while trying to focus down the hatchery. At the same time, the carriers are doing okay, but their interceptors keep getting picked off by the Hydras. The Hydras that, by the way, do have +3 attacks, so they're really scary stuff. More Storm here, more Lurkers are going down, but the hatchery survives.
Yeah, Goblin with this Warp Prism might be looking to get this 5th base again, though. And there we go, more Zealots warping on in. Meanwhile, he's just been teching up behind this. His army has been gradually getting better and better. That being said, Namshar, 17 Corruptors on the way, pardon me. And I mean, there's only 5 carriers for Goblin. There's not much anti-air besides the High Templar. And I mean, High Templar are very good anti-air, but on their own, I mean, these Corruptors may just be able to pop off these carriers. We'll see.
Yeah, basically one volume. Namshar's 5th base was canceled again by Zealots at the north side here, but it is getting replanted immediately. A small Hydra Roach attack. Goblin's just trying to probe up and not having much by way of base defense. He's going to lose his 3rd base again here.
His economy hasn't been great, and he's been trying to afford all these high-tech units, so this is a wonderful move for Namshar. Meanwhile, as Goblin trying to get to secure that base, he's just got to realize that base is done for. I need to defend this one. He's storming his own probes, trying to save his carriers here. The Corruptors are getting on this army, though. More Psystorm needs to be dropped, but Goblin's army count is dropping. Lurkers are on at the 3rd base, and this is hurting our Protoss player a lot here.
Yeah, he largely rocked his own mineral line with those storms. Brutal, brutal stuff for sure.
Oh no, and now is natural. These Corruptors, doesn't matter what they're fighting, they can try and find some value. This Nexus, not safe from them. Goblin did save up his 3rd base, but I mean, right now we're looking at what, like a 5-6 base Zerg here versus a Protoss who just lost his natural with 1 other base.
Yeah, with 34 probes. Not looking good. He's got to go for it. He's trying to go for it. Namshar sacking his 4th, or 5th rather, recognizing he can't save that, but he needs to pull back and defend somewhere else.
A ton of Lurkers Goblin was trying to go up into. Needs some sort of detection on those, and he's actually just going to opt to go around before the Zerg player can try and build up an adequate army to deal with this. I mean, this is a very scary Protoss army. He is up on supply. He's got High Templar to zone out these Lurkers for now. Even a Mothership Core or a Mothership joining up with this, pardon me. Psystorm being dropped onto these Corruptors. Interceptors working away on them. They're rather bruised already, so this fight not going badly for Goblin here.
Yeah, he's got the Archons, he's got the High Templar, he's got the Carriers, and some Stalkers here too to try to deal with those Corruptors. I don't think the Hydras are going to be all that useful with the number of Colossus that are still around. 3 of them is pretty scary stuff. This Roach Hydra is not going to do it. They need the Lurkers, they need the Corruptors to make it happen. But the longer he delays here, the better it is for Namshar. He's able to go ahead and mine from that 6th base up north that he has. He's making more Corruptors all the time. He's getting upgrades for ground Carapace, for his Hydras and his Roaches and his Lurkers at this stage.
Oh, those Hydras walk right into the Colossus. That's a big misstep from Namshar. Now,
yeah, army supply suddenly 125 to 85. Goblin has the lead. He's reestablishing. He's actually reestablishing his 3rd back home, but I don't know that he's really counting on being able to use that.
Yeah, there goes another one of these bases. Goblin finally found one. Namshar has been doing a good job defending them with his Lurkers, just making sure that they're always in position, but that does hurt losing that base. He's on 4 bases. But Goblin, he's saying, all right, this attack's been drawn out. He's just going to resecure this Nexus, his 3rd base, I guess. But, I mean, as this is going on, he's surged ahead in supply. He's still down on workers, but here we're seeing a big fight. Namshar is going for it, but even the Phoenix helping out beat these Corruptors back, and Namshar just not able to contest with this army of Goblin. This is just a monstrous force he has.
But Lurkers at the 4th base of Goblin. So many more dead probes.
Yeah, that definitely hurts. So this is good for Namshar, keeping the economy of Goblin down, and this really will make time be better for him. However, I mean, this army is just so scary for the Protoss player, for the Zerg player.
That hatch, I think, is going to get focused down here. A couple more volleys, and the hatch does end up falling. Namshar losing bases at an alarming rate right now.
Yeah, he's got a Lurker in each base, though, it looks like, so no real mining going down for Goblin. Looks like these Zealots will clean this one Lurker up, which is very nice for him. It's still going to come down to this, whether this army can be defeated or not. Namshar, he's had a bit of time to muster a force against this, but Goblin's just been continuously trading, whittling down his opponent's army.
Yeah, this one Lurker at the 3rd base of Namshar has been here forever. And is going to die now, but he's got 10 kills.
Yeah, he's done well for himself. I mean, Goblin's economy has just been very poor.
It has been, but at the same time, the pressure he's been putting on is great. 13 kills on that carrier. Archon sitting at 7. Another Archon with 10. I mean, these upgrades are good. +2 air, +3 ground.
Drones,
a couple
though.
Lurkers getting caught out. And
Yeah.
this is just exactly what he needs.
That really hurts for Namshar, trying to get this base back up, stepping forward with his Corruptors, just his Corruptors, but taking a lot of losses there. Blink Stalkers getting on him, and just the army supply now about 50 ahead for Goblin. He picks off a Corruptor, but I don't know if there's enough to challenge everything else.
Yeah, I mean, this is just Goblin's comfort zone, man. He lives in this area, controlling all these different units, all these different spells, microing, keeping stuff alive as best he can, keeping the pressure on Namshar. Namshar's base is going to go down again. He's replanted it, but it is dead for the 2nd or 3rd time in this game. There's no saving it at all. Namshar, his income is in the toilet. Goblins has been bad, but it's 3 times better now.
Those drones.
Yeah,
that was terrible. But once again, Lurkers getting into the base.
What an absolutely amazing game this has been. This Nexus is going to go down.
Yeah,
there is no saving it.
This army, though, can the Corruptors take it? No, they can't. GG, Goblin finally pushes in.
Wow. Goblin was down to effectively 1 base. He had 1 mining base, and then that died too, but he just kept his army alive for so long, and didn't matter. I'm telling you, man, Zergs have a hard time dealing with that composition.
Yeah, that just goes to show how good that that army is. Now, next map's going to be King's Cove.
Excellent. We've already seen that one today.
Wait, that's not the one we were just on, was it? No. We just did Cyber Force. That's the one.
Cyber Forest. Sounds like Cyber Force, but it's not.
Just 1 second here. Okay, we did just see Cyber Forest. So yeah, King's Cove is the next map.
Samacron there in chat. Welcome aboard, Samacron. He is the co-host of my weekly podcast, the Falcon Paladin Hour. He's Australian.
Excellent.
I'm American. We talk about StarCraft and stuff. He's here watching today. How's it going, dude? Yeah, I was a little bit nervous that we wouldn't end up seeing the Goblin composition because maybe Namshar had figured it out by this point, but no, Namshar has not figured it out by this point. That was just a shellacking.
Yeah, just really good showing.
Yeah, even all those corruptors, it didn't matter as much as Namshar thought they would, as we thought they would. All right, it's a 2-0 lead.
All right, yeah, best of 5. We are into the game now. And yeah, he does have himself a 2-0 lead spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map. It's Goblin.
And in the bottom right, the red Zerg player teammate, it is Namshar.
So we'll see how Namshar is going to sort of deal with this. I mean, whether it'll be changed up. I wouldn't mind if we see Namshar maybe bring out something a little bit cheesy himself. Or like a nice timing attack or something.
It'd be nice. I'd like to see it. Again, I really think Goblin is fairly vulnerable for their small window here. But you just have to know when it is. You have to scout it perfectly. You have to respond to it well. It's just, it is difficult to pull off. And maybe Namshar doesn't feel confident enough to try it. Samacron is procrastinating editing said podcast.
Ah.
It usually comes out on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, but apparently he's watching StarCraft instead, which I can't necessarily blame him for.
Yeah, you can't really blame the guy for that.
Right. StarCraft is life. Alright, man. So Namshar not doing anything nuts here. Just hatch first extractor pool. Meanwhile, Goblin doing the very, very standard. A gateway expand. There's your cyber core. There is your second gas getting taken here very shortly. There it is. And then the second pylon. And from here, things get a little bit more interesting. But this is just the safest, most standard way to open Protoss, really, in all matchups. It's not bad. And you probably want to get a second gateway out if it's a PvP, but against both Protoss, or against Zerg and Terran, this build is just, it's safe, it's economical. If you don't know this build in your Protoss, you're doing it wrong. I guess unless you're just a cannon rusher. Are you print F? If you are print F, don't worry about it.
Yeah, okay, so probe meeting those first 2 lings. Looks like maybe overstaying his welcome a little bit here. I mean, these probes, they're not invincible, the scouting probes, so Namshar is going to be chasing it down. Looks like Goblin may lose it. And, oh, wonderful. Okay, well, who am I to talk? That probe gets out of there with 1 HP.
Yeah, get out of there, probe friend.
Adept shading around still. Queen gonna be greeting her.
And some lings. You're not going to finish that transfer.
Oh
my god,
wait
he finished
a
the
second.
transfer.
Goblin
Why?
saying, hold my beer.
I guess there weren't enough lings. 2 was not enough here, and actually...
That was, like, very sudden, though.
It was. It was not worth... I don't think it was worth it either. That Adept died and maybe got a couple lings.
Yeah, he got 4 lings in total. That might honestly have been a mistake from Goblin. I don't know.
The resonating glaives coming up for Goblin, going for all of them Adepts. Looks like probably a 2-gate Adept all-in. Just a lot of options for Protoss to do against Zerg these days, and preparing for it requires pretty different responses from Zerg for all of them. So at this point, he either wants Roaches or a whole bunch of Banelings. Banelings would be great here, although I don't necessarily see him going for either of those things. The Roach Horn is getting started, and that can be pretty good against a Resonating Glaive Adepts, but if there are enough of them, they could even stand toe-to-toe with Roaches with that upgrade.
Yeah, the thing about Adepts is that they're like a swarm of bees. They're just everywhere. Like, it's just, you're like, all right, some Adepts coming into my main base, I got this. And then they're in your natural, and then they're in your third, and then you're crying, curled up in a ball on the floor because you have no drones, and that's life.
And then you lose, and you say GG because you're polite. Or maybe you're ragey. I don't know. I don't know your life.
Depends.
I don't know.
Maybe if it's the 4th time in a row that's happened on ladder or something like that.
Oh, then you just a
The
little
guy
slow
can
to
only
reach for
take
that
so
G.
much, right?
True fact, man. And that's the thing. Like, you don't know what someone's faced before they face you. Like, maybe you felt you played pretty standard, but they've just lost to the same thing 6 times in a row, and they feel it's OP, and they hate you for it, you know?
Maybe there should be, like, notes on what happened in the last game, like on the loading
This guy's
screen.
been cannon rushed 7 times in a row, and
Yeah.
lost all of them. Please keep this in mind.
All right, guess I'll cannon rush the guy. Yeah, clearly he's no good against cannon rushes.
That'd be so useful. Come on, Blizz, make it happen.
Yeah, let's see it. First 2 adepts are going to shade on in.
A whole
Just
bunch to the
2,
third
though.
base, too.
There's 4
Third base
more
is under
hanging
attack.
around. Oh,
There are roaches,
this is
the
interesting.
adepts.
Oh, and he gets those out. This is really interesting from Goblin. He kills off 6 drones, but only with a few adepts. Like, he's just transitioning out of this, I guess.
You're engaging the opponent.
Like, Goblin not committing to this a ton. Gets 6 drones. He's got adepts still hanging around, but no, just not going for, like, the big old overwhelming attack like usual. Transitioning away. Those adepts will finish their shade. That's a little bit bold, but they'll actually be saved in the prism. Very cool by Goblin. Loses one of them, but gets a couple more drones. Just keeping the Zerg player down. And as we look at this, the Protoss player, he's got up his 3rd base.
Yeah, that third base is up and happily running 54-7. Really keeping Namshar back foot here with those adepts. And the Warp Prism, I like having that in there. It kind of helps your adepts stay alive if they finish that transfer inside the Zerg base. If there are roaches. But that's a Spire coming in for Namshar a bit earlier. Perhaps he's preparing for Stargates, but you know who's not making Stargates is Goblin.
Yeah, the thing about this... Oh, these adepts do shade on top of these roaches, but adepts are pretty much guaranteed to get a couple of kills. Gets out with the Prism. 5 drones for 2 adepts. At this stage in the game, I think that's a fantastic trade for Goblin. 50 drones to 61, so I mean, just with this opening, he's got a fair bit of damage done. The concern, though, like you said, is Goblin not building Stargates. The reason why Namshar went for this Spire is because after a build like this, whether it's a charge lot all-in, whether it's like any sort of aggressive opening from the Protoss that starts with a Robo, the Protoss is usually following it up with Immortals, Charge, +1, and Psystorm. That's just naturally what they get, because that will deal with, say, the Roaches, deal with potential Hydras, but not Mutalisks. And this is where it's going to be very concerning for Goblin. I mean, he's going to have High Templar, so he'll have Archons, but no Blink on the way, no cannons or shield batteries at all. He's got 1 shield battery at his 3rd base. But,
And Namshar got the full scout off. He saw exactly what Goblin was doing. He saw the Templar Archives and the Robotics Facility and the Twilight Council and the additional gateways and no Stargates, and he knows exactly what he's up against here. So yeah, the Mutas are going to be great. Got 6 of them out already here. There are no cannons in any of these mineral lines at all. Just prime Mutalisk harass potential area.
they're just going to blindside the heck out of Goblin. Here they come. These High Templar are vulnerable. Goblin may just need to Psystorm.
Oh gosh.
Morphs into Archons because he has no choice. Now, Archons are pretty tanky, so... is it going to go down? Looks like one of them will. Not going to be able to get to that shield battery. Stalkers are warped in by Goblin, but still no Blink. He's now throwing up cannons and shield batteries to deal with this, but he's going to be taking some damage, that's for sure.
Yeah, the Muta's taken off several of these probes here. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, there was some harassment of drones. I don't know where it is, but it's over now. And yeah, the Muta's just getting out of there for Namshar. So really, he's trying to slow down Goblin here too, with the composition he's going for. He's making 6 more Mutalisks, really forcing more cannons and forcing more Stalkers out of Goblin than he necessarily wants to. And here comes the Roach attack up to the 3rd base. But there are so many Immortals here for Goblin. Do not go up that ramp. You will die.
Yeah.
Don't do it, man.
The High Templar were cleaned out, so there's not any Psystorm yet, but this is just
Oh my
so
gosh.
many Immortals. He's going for it. Can he focus them down? Pops off the Archons, actually, so there's nothing to answer for the Mutas. Those High Templar not doing anything, not morphing. Drops a sort of panic Psystorm, sends the Mutas packing, but yeah, that didn't work out too well for the Roaches, but he did clean out all the High Templar.
He did, but the Stalkers are here. That Storm was actually pretty good. I think it weakened most of these Mutas.
Yeah, but how long
more
do
Mutas
they
on the
stay
way.
weakened for?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Is that actually like the full-on number? How long it takes to heal?
No, but that's what it feels like. Once again,
okay.
I thought there was a cannon down here. What's going on?
Yeah,
How are
I
they
think it might have been picked off earlier. Blink's not yet done for Goblin, so he's losing workers. This is where it really hurts for Protoss. And these mutas actually just trading out with these stalkers. I mean, I think the trade isn't the worst in the world for the Protoss player, but definitely not a comfortable situation. More mutas are incoming. There's no Archons to be the backbone to prevent these mutas. More and more stalkers are being morphed in, but Goblin's just running away with this at this, or Namshar's running away with this at this point. Blink's done, but you don't want to blink under these many mutas. Namshar's showing he's not afraid of fighting this. Goblin is not mining at his natural. He's going across the map with his Immortals and Zealots because he doesn't really have a choice. But look at this, these stalkers having to run once again. They gotta get back, blink away. This Archon will shoo the mutas away. But oh, this is going fantastic for Namshar and these Immortals. Oh, these Immortals.
Oh, the Immortals get caught out. That's GG. That's it. I don't think you can come back from that.
He recalls to keep him alive, which is a nice move, but the thing is, Goblin never threw up Stargates to deal with the mutas, and Namshar is just saying, all right, well, you've never made Stargates, I'll just keep making mutas. They're actually pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you've ever wondered how come every Protoss opens up Stargate versus Zerg, this is why.
This is part of the reason why, that's for sure.
Yep.
And this is just crippling Goblin. I mean, he had a pretty good opening here, but oh, is Archon even betraying him here? They can't fit through the wall. Meanwhile, the Roaches come on in. They're engaging the Immortals. I still don't think they're up to that task, but the mutas are getting all the real work done here.
Good golly.
Oh,
one of the Immortals died, but all the Roaches are dead.
Just Goblin, he's just falling apart.
He is. It's because he didn't make his traditional composition. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the probe massacre here. 25, 24, 22 probes. We are just falling precipitously right now. We're trying to fight with Stalkers, completely outmatched though. Even if you blink down, the mutas don't care about your blink. They can fly. Nice try though.
Yeah. Like, it's just, Goblin's just, he's just done, man. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure happily 4 bases. The Prism gonna try and get a bit of Zealot harassment done. But these Zealots would have to kill a lot of workers, and Namshar, he's just making more mutas. The thing is, like, it didn't all just fall apart at once for Goblin. This has just been a slow decline from these mutas. They've just got so much damage done as this game has gone on. And GG, Namshar takes it. But the thing is, if Goblin, say, had thrown up a Stargate, even the second that the mutas have got out, he would have eventually had a solid answer to him.
I agree. Even just a group of 4 or 5 Phoenix would have been fantastic.
Yeah, someone like Goblin, I imagine, can micro them very well. But next map's going to be Year 0.
All right, Year 0, based on that epilogue mission from the Legacy of the Void campaign.
Ah, it's the one with Amon, right?
Amon and the Void Shards and stuff. Yep, that's totally it.
Yeah, that was crazy how he'd come down and just like smack out the bases. It's like, oh, huh. I think I had some trouble with that mission.
It's not great. I played through the whole campaign on Brutal a few months ago, and that was a difficult mission.
No, yeah, I remember trying to make a lot of mutas, but then I was like, oh, they'll just heal through the damage that like the shards do or whatever, but they didn't. They just died.
Yep. The shards hit hard,
I mean,
and
the StarCraft campaign's good, everyone. Like, it is a very, very good campaign.
You should play it.
You should. There's your homework, everyone.
Yep.
All right, but spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, it's Infinity Gaming's Goblin.
And in the top right-hand corner of the map, it is the Blue Zerg player, Namshar.
Can we find him? Nope, he's lurking in the dark. Oh, there he is. Look at that creepy guy just hanging out there.
So
doing
scary.
His thing. Is that what he, like, say I'm on 1. Like, he wanted to end everything, right?
Yeah.
But, like, so would it just be him sitting in, like, the dark after? If he had one?
Pretty much. He likes it in there. It's cozy. That is so cool, though.
It is. I wonder how many people's games have just blacked because of this.
What? It's just
I'm trying to split
There's
Marines here, Blizzard.
What's going on?
I
wonder if people veto it for that reason.
Maybe. It's got a lot of particles and stuff. Like, all this red. Like, I was like, wow, that's really pretty. There's not a lot of maps with this. It's nice that Blizzard is finally like, you know, we can have some cool things going on. Like, it's 2019, your PC should be able to run a game that came out almost a decade ago.
Yes, please.
All right, so Probe Scout coming in here for Goblin. Just going for his standard opening, it looks like so far. We'll see how this sort of changes as the game goes on.
Yeah, I mean, no proxies, nothing too crazy happening right here.
Speed's on the way here for Namshar. That's not a surprise.
No, and your first Adept coming in here too for Goblin again.
Huh.
Not a surprise.
It's almost like this is a normal Protoss versus Zerg opening.
Very strange. And check it out. That's a Stargate.
It is. On a map like this, I think it's a very good thing. There's just so much airspace. It is a rather large map, all things considered, but just, yeah, with all this airspace, just fly on over, kill off them overlords with a Phoenix, and, yeah, we'll see how the rest of this game goes on. I don't think I've ever actually seen... I think I have yet to... I haven't played on this map a lot. In fact, I don't know if I've played on it at all. But I have not seen a lot of games go super long on this map.
Huh. I mean, it's fairly new, so the sample size seems pretty small, but...
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That Adept shades on in. Goes down again. Only two Lings have died this game, so not worth it for Goblin, I guess. Like, maybe he just wants to really commit to that scout, but not seeing it. And Lings are on the way for Namshar. He's making a Spore Crawler, throwing up a Roach Warren, so Namshar may be planning on getting some aggression going this game.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I'm on board.
Goblin's waiting for his second Oracle here, so probably going to be going in at the same time. But whether he scouts this aggression or not is the question. He's got a second Stargate on the way. He's got one Stalker in the wall, but Lings are going to be looking to get on in here. There's no probe in position to re-wall this, so this Stalker's going down. Oh my god. Fantastic timing by Goblin. Going to buy himself a little bit of time here, but... Oh, this does fall. He's not quite able to get the wall fully up. And the Oracles are crossing the map. He knew this attack was coming, but he never turned around with the Oracles. So Lings are in his base. He's going to have to try and get this wall back up. Warping in some Adepts, just trying to keep the lid on this thing. Here comes in the Oracles, picking off a couple of drones, but nothing major just yet.
Yeah, the Adepts do get cleaned out there. Or the Lings do get cleaned out by the Adepts.
Oh, one of the Oracles goes on down. He injured so many drones, but not killed them. And Roaches are crossing the map now, or are they? No, just Lings so far. The Roach Warden, pardon me, not being used. But this Adept gonna have to hold on, and that's the problem. It is just one Adept. Lings dealing with probes in the main. The losses haven't been too bad for Goblin, but if this Cyber Core falls, then it becomes a real issue for him.
Yep, these Lings are just, they keep running. That Cyber Core is down to the yellow health. These Adepts can't quite kill them fast enough, or can they? As more Lings are showing up, I mean, if you got the Lings out, you might as well do something with them, Namshar. Come on, man. Get in there. You can do it. Another Oracle on the way here from Goblin. Another Oracle swinging up to the main base, trying to get some stuff done. But again, the one Queen and the one Spore is enough to handle it. Is it going Banelings? Why are these Lings just hanging out?
I guess they've got nowhere else to be.
But it's bad. You should get in there. I guess there is now a Sentry with Force Fields can really ruin your day.
Yeah, I suppose so. That's probably the reason why. Looks like this Overlord gonna try and scout on in. Goblin even warping in a Stalker, really wanting to deny this scout, wanting to deny vision on the second Stargate, and it looks like he will manage to do that. And I mean, I don't mind this position for Goblin. He's got out, or he's getting out another Oracle after losing one or two, but he's now going into these Phoenix. And a Hydralisk then about 50% complete here for Namshar.
So pretty standard stuff. That Ling aggression was weird, and I still feel like Namshar's kind of wasted a lot here by making these Lings and not really doing anything with them at all. He's not checking for proxies. He's not scouting with them. They're just hanging out. And here comes our mass Phoenix. Okay, so 5 Phoenix and 2 Oracle push right now. There are no Hydras on the ground because they're not here yet. I don't see any in production either. Those Overlords are going to die. Supply blocking Namshar would be a genius opening to this attack. And in fact, does get the supply block.
Oh, finding drones. This is actually going really, really well for Goblin here. Phoenix is going to come on in, lift up the Queen while the Oracles are going to zap away some of these drones, doing fantastic. Queen even goes down. Namshar taking one heck of a beating here.
Yeah, man, that's 11 drones down. 12, 13, 14. Namshar had a lead. It is only 2 now.
Yeah, that is not a good sign for a Zerg player.
Oh, man, that Queen is out in the open, and she's going to die. Is there not energy?
Yes, there is now, apparently. Okay. Fantastic micro on that one Phoenix, keeping it back. Queens are transfusing, trying to keep their friend alive, but...
But they use all their energy on transfuses on a dead Queen. Now another Queen dies.
Yeah, this is hurting a lot. Looks like Goblin warping in a couple Zealots back at home. I mean, there is going to be a significant Hydra count building up, it would seem. There's 12 out already, but these Phoenix can continuously get some sort of damage done still. 1-1's actually on the way because Goblin, he made an extra Cybercore in his wall since he thought he was maybe going to lose his, and he's like, hey, I'll use this. A little bit of improv there, getting a fleet beacon on the way for potential carriers as he starts his 3rd base.
Meanwhile, Phoenix found the Overlord hiding spot, and they kill a couple of them there inside Namshar's base.
Gotta be careful.
Lift and kill, not bad here.
Yeah, losing a couple Phoenix. These are +1 Hydras. But he sees how few drones are at that 3rd base, and that's a good feeling for a Protoss player.
Definitely true. All right, so the Phoenix are just basically trying to hold map control right now. 3rd base by Goblin is just about complete here, 50% down. The carrier production has begun. And more Overlords getting picked off. He gets the supply block. Namshar is officially supply blocked at 106 supply.
Yeah,
amazing.
Cutting production. That's actually very, very good for Goblin. Carriers are being produced. It's very slow, just out of 2 Stargates. I mean, they're a lot quicker than they used to be as far as building goes, but still takes a while when you just have those 2 production facilities. Once Goblin, say, reaches 3 or, like, say, 4 or so, he'll be very comfortable. But for the time being, it is a little bit dicey if Namshar does decide to move out. For now, though, Namshar just getting up a 4th base, getting his +2, showing that he's willing to macro in this game, just despite taking a lot of harassment to his economy.
Yep, fleeing on in here again, recognizing the Hydras can't be everywhere at once, killing 4 more drones here. 5th base, or 4th base rather, coming up for Namshar down south. The Phoenix are going to scout this thing and see that it's here. I wonder if he's going to send some Zealots over to possibly deal with it, but looks like they're not going to have charge anytime soon, so it might take a while for them to get there.
Oh,
but yeah, carrier production.
Here comes Namshar. A lot of Hydras moving across the map and carrier production. Only 2 are out so far. There's no shield batteries or anything, which is also a little bit concerning. The Phoenix are out on the map.
Stasis. And Stasis can be great here, really having your army.
Oh, look at that. Namshar sections off 2 Lings, though, to eat up the Stasis. It's all gone. These carriers, I mean, there's more Hydras than there are Interceptors, so this is actually looking very dicey. The Phoenix are on their way back, but no, this is just Namshar just going for it, and Goblin is in trouble. His carriers are just abandoning ship, but the probes are left behind and not able to reach a high enough count. Phoenix are flying on in, but big mistake by Goblin, letting all those Phoenix get popped off. And oh, is right. This is just looking very, very rough for the Protoss player.
He didn't even come in for the lift. He just like flew over them and they died.
Yeah. His other carriers need to get back, and he just never reached that critical count. He's at 4 now, but all of his buffer and everything else is gone. He's warping an A Zealot to help buffer for this. His carriers aren't even together. They're all split up, and yeah, it's just over. Oh, man. Namshar just like that.
So Namshar takes a ton of hits there. A lot of drones go down. A lot of queens go down, but recognizes, aha, Hydras are going to be real, real good here in offensive capability very soon. And he found the window before the carrier group got too high, before there was any storm, any Archons at all. Brilliantly, I think the key there, you mentioned it, was running the Lings in early and triggering those stasis wards so that they didn't catch the Hydras. Yeah, and all the Hydras were ready to go.
It's just the fact that the Phoenix weren't there, I feel like. I understand wanting to be out on the map and getting damage done, but if Goblin had identified that attack was coming in, he would have had his Phoenix coming. So say whether he just knows that's coming, and then suddenly it's a lot more reasonable because Phoenix, they're obviously not the best versus Hydras, but just removing a certain number of Hydras from the equation for your Phoenix, it's worth it because those holds are always close holds for the Protoss player, and without it, it's just not going to happen.
It is brutal for sure. All right, so we're in a game 5 of this best of 5. Each player has 2. And it's going to be interesting. I think, again, these players have played against each other enough over their lives and in this series that it's going to be just a bunch of mind games trying to catch the other guy off guard.
All right, here we are, though, spawning in the bottom right-hand side of the map. It's Infinity Gaming's Goblin.
And in the top left-hand corner, it is the Red Zerg player. It is Namshar.
Yeah, keep in mind the winner of this, guys, goes on to face Soul in a best of 7, which will be a fantastic series either way. I mean, PVT or TVZ or TVP. Either way, I'm definitely going to be happy with that.
Oh, yeah, I'm down. Haven't seen any TVP in a while, so mixing it up would be a great thing for sure. All right, so no proxy hatches because this is not Bly, and no cannon rushing. This is Goblin. And actually, I've seen him cannon rush before. He's capable of it.
Every Protoss today is not capable of it.
Well, sure, but in a tournament situation, like some people hate doing it in a when there's money on the line.
Yeah. And some people only do it when there's money on the line. They're like, right, things got to get serious. Let's bust out that forge.
True fact.
Goblin, interestingly enough, going for a Cybercore before his Nexus this game. I guess just playing it a little bit safer here. Hatchery on the way. So standard stuff so far, but Goblin is moving north with this probe. Is it going to be like a proxy Stargate or something?
I don't know. I'm trying to see. I mean, he's not really hiding his probe, but I don't... Oh, yeah, that guy.
My money's on Stargate.
Yeah, sure seems like it. So the Oracle shows up a little bit sooner than Namshar was expecting it.
I mean, yeah, Nexus is on the way. Pylon on the way. North of Namshar's base. And, yeah, I think, like, it's probably a Stargate. I mean, it could always be DTs or something like that. But, just from the positioning of this pylon, like, that's, like, boom, prime Oracle, speedway there just to get into that base. And there we go, Stargate on the way. So Goblin going to be trying to pull a quick one on his opponent.
And it can work. It really can. Just because Zergs really like to wait until the last possible second to throw down their spores.
Oh, exactly.
And last possible second when the Oracle's down in the main base of Goblin is different from last possible second when it starts from up here.
Yes,
so, I mean,
indeed.
It's...
Like, as you said, those Zerg players, they are so precise with their timings because they want to know what corners to cut so that they can play just completely optimally. But sometimes that can backfire, and we'll see that Stargate finishing up. I imagine there's going to be a Chrono and an Oracle on the way. There we go. Goblin looking to bring it quickly to his opponent. Adepts go on in, just trying to get what they can. Good micros so far from Namshar, keeping those alive. Does lose 2 drones in total so far. Saves his 3rd, so... I mean, 2 drones for 2 Adepts is actually a pretty good trade for the Zerg. And, oh, is Namshar actually just going to let this Spore finish?
Yep.
Oh, that
He's like, might as well. Look at this. Look how this works out for the Zerg player.
Is this going to backfire?
Wow.
Oh, did Goblin sabotage himself? He's got 2 queens. He actually sabotaged himself super hard. Look at that.
Yeah.
That is...
He sent the Adepts in, forced a Spore, and the Spore is incredibly useful. That's amazing.
Congrats, Goblin. You played yourself. Oh, yeah, that's actually, like... That's terrible. And now Namshar knows, I think. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
But,
he's like, oh, there's a proxy. We can handle that.
1 drone. But, I mean, he would have liked to get, like, 6 drones or something.
Would have been amazing, for sure.
Yeah.
But nope, not today. And now, I don't know, man, Namshar is going... Just queening up here. We got a robotics facility on the way from a Goblin.
Lings are moving across the map. Looks like Goblin going to be powering up here, getting up a ton of gateways, so he's going to be following this up with a big old glaive attack. This is actually just so comical how Goblin just he completely sabotaged himself.
He did. He's trying to go in with a double Oracle. Does get 3 more kills,
definitely.
which is pretty nice.
Well done there in that regard. So I mean, getting something done. But we'll see now. I mean, this adept timing is going to be coming fast and hitting hard. We'll see a warp prism on the way relatively soon, I believe. Resonating glaives on the way here. Oh,
indeed
like,
it is.
A few adepts coming up. Goblin does have a third base behind this. That prism on the way, but Namshar, he is getting up a Baneling nest. He's making lings. Oracle's coming in once again. Oh, one of them just barely escapes there. But
all of 1 hit
point. 4 more
point.
drones, all of 1 hit point.
Wow.
Oh, Adept does get surrounded. 2 Adepts potentially get surrounded here. Oh, Goblin, look at that timing. That proc comes in perfectly.
Oh, losing the Cyber Core means your
yeah,
Adept attack is not going to be as good. And a Knight is coming up for Namshar too.
Oh my. Can't even warp in Adepts to defend his third base too. These Lings aren't on it just yet though, but Namshar quickly remedying that. The Oracles are going to have to come home to try and secure that. Now, that being said, Goblin did get some Adepts out. Lings and Hydras were the main focus now, so there's no actual Banelings just yet. These Adepts are trading out with these Lings, but there's a lot of Queens to buffer here. And Goblin has seen that Nidus as this has been going on, but these Adepts going to be getting in towards the third base where the drones are very, very exposed. Goblin has kept his third base alive just barely.
Yeah, the Zealots warped in and dealt with it. It's very, very in the red, though. Some Banelings rolling in would be horrible. And some Zerglings, too. So the Adepts back here...
Oh, my. Goblin stasising 2 Queens, and these Adepts are getting a lot of work done right now. 10 drones have fallen. I mean, Namshar was planning this big attack. He's still got a Nidus on the way.
Holy what? He's throwing it up right at Namshar's natural base.
Zealots are working away on it, though. This isn't going to work, and there's not even much to load into the Nidus since the Adepts have been picking off all the Lings. The Nidus gets shut down. Goblins killed off 16, 17, 18 drones. That number's just keeping on rising. Banelings are on the way, but that Nidus did get shut down.
Yeah, the Banelings are here. They're going to start rolling into the main base to defend up that way. But the Lings should handle that one. The ones in the natural, a little bit more of a concern. And now the split, pretty good. And that's it. Goblin takes the series 3 games to 2.
Oh my. That just ended that game was chaos. Like
that Nidus was just the cherry on top there for sure. That was chaotic, absolutely. But yeah, man, just didn't have enough to deal with the Resonating Glaives Adept attack. Didn't have Banelings until too late. So much stuff died there in the end. I mean, it was 4,500 resources lost for Namshar and 3,200 for Goblin. Just incredibly cost-efficient stuff. So many drones died. It was 21 workers remaining for Namshar, and he just figured, I'm not coming back from that.
No, yes, but that means that we're going to be getting on into the next game. Well, the next series, actually, which is going to be Soul versus Goblin, a PvP. Should be a fantastic match between these 2 great players. I'm excited to see how it's going to go between them. But, all right, we'll have a quick break, and then we'll get on into that. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in just a bit.
We'll be right back.